Hi everyone, I'm Simon and we are at Jamchester still, which is the UK's biggest professional game jam, held here in Manchester, and we've got another of our great sponsors. So this is Joe from Improbable. Now Joe, you're going to have to explain who Improbable are succinctly, because it's a cool tech company, but it's better if it comes from the horse's mouth.
Cool. So Improbable are a developer tools provider. We provide a SDK and a cloud platform for helping developers make bigger games. We're talking immersive worlds with lots of persistence and physical elements for thousands of players.
So you're here at Jamchester. We are a 40-hour, remember, only 40 hours. Sounds like a long time, but it's not that much, for making loads of games. And Improbable, not only are they sponsoring us, they've paid for these lovely T-shirts. Yay, Jamchester T-shirts on the back as well.
Oh, beautiful T-shirts. They've done really good work with those.
So they sponsored the T-shirts and they're a sponsor of the event. And they've actually put in a team as well. And I believe your team are making an MMO. We're calling it an MMO in 40 hours. So their technology allows you to make an MMO at a game jam, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So the main thing about technology is you don't have to worry about any of your networking, any of the scaling of the servers. We have like a worker system that works over a large vector space. So you have players join the world and they can move around freely, and all their physics, all their behaviors are managed and just dealt with seamlessly by the platform. So the idea is that it makes MMOs very easy to develop. So we're hoping that our MMO will be built within 40 hours and then we'll try it out. So they're making the theme being you've already won. They're making a game where you are some aliens who have conquered the Earth and now you're bored. And so this is a MMO basically drawing game. They've added like the ability to physically extrude buildings, destroy them, flatten them, add them to the world, and each time they do that, those are actually added to the world as physical entities. So you're drawing using the remains of the world you've conquered, and this is all done in MMO style, and you can add creatures and scale them up and mess around with the world like you're just bored gods with your own playground. So thousands of players can join this and mess up this world, basically.
So you can look at it's Improbable.io, at Improbable.io and Improbable.io, so the Twitter account, so they're tweeting stuff and they're tweeting silly pictures.
We have some good explanations of our tech and how it all works on our blog, which is improbable.io/blog.
So I've got a question for you, so to help me understand the Improbable technology. So obviously we're using it as back-end technology for making MMO, multiplayer games, cloud games where we're storing loads of content. So you could use it for something like Little Big Planet or something like that, with lots of interactive stuff.
In theory, yeah. So the idea is more around like persistent worlds, so very large worlds which will exist regardless of the players there. So if you look at Worlds Adrift built by Boston Studios, for example, that is a massive endless sky with floating islands, and you come and fly your pirate ships, you destroy them, and those remains will stay there for like the lifespan of the game, and other players can discover them and wonder about the stories and what happened to leave those remains there. So Little Big Planet is obviously kind of like round-based. We're talking much more like long-lasting, persistent worlds.
Right. So an actual, like, a universe that could live on forever, really?
Yeah, intentionally, yeah. So the persistent element is, like, again, all handled on a platform, and the developers don't have to worry anything about it. And as well as being used for games, it's also very useful for simulations. So we have quite a lot of academic partners. We've did this cool thing recently where we simulated the entire internet. No big deal, just the entire internet. It was pretty cool. And we've done a lot of, like, autonomous vehicle simulations as well.
So what about, there's a lot of stuff, people talking about using the cloud for extra computational power. Is that something that Improbable's helping with as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's totally the idea. So the idea is it's like games that can't fit into a single computer, essentially. So you have like all these tens of thousands of physical interactions, and rather than doing them on one machine and try and do that one machine in the cloud, we distribute the workload between a series of machines on the Google Cloud platform, all handled by workers. So you have entities in your world. That could be a player, that could be an NPC, that could be a physical ball. And those entities have behaviors that could be to move or to interact or to kill or to have combat. And those behaviors are watched over by workers acting on the world. And it's those workers, which are individual machines, servers, virtual machines, whatever it is, that then spread that computational load between them. So it's very much about these games and these very rich, high-fidelity interactions that couldn't happen on a single computer.
So let's put that into context. So if I've got a less powerful computer and I'm playing a game that uses Improbable technology, the more powerful computers that are connected using the Improbable technology can do the extra cool computational stuff and make it look really good on my computer that isn't as powerful as the other ones.
Yeah, absolutely. So as a client, you've got just very minimal client, you join into the game, and all all the calculation needs to be done, all the physical results, etc., just streamed through to you from the server to the client. So you're able to play like vastly more complex games than you could play on your own machine, which is really handy for someone like me who's sitting there on my very minimal MacBook, because I could play a very complex game like Worlds Adrift, and all the physical computation is handled by a spatial OS.
So lots of cool stuff there from Improbable. Went quite techie there, but I think we like the tech stuff. We're interested in that. That's kind of that's why we're here. That's why I'm trying to put it into context as well. So thanks to Joe. Check out at Improbable.io on Twitter and improbable.io on the Tinternet. We're in Manchester. It's the Tinternet. So and thanks to Joe and thanks to Improbable for sponsoring.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been wonderful to be here.